Hi everyone, first impressions for Arkham Horror, the card game. And I really like, the thing that drew me to the game was the promise of, storytelling and that your characters would evolve over the course of these stories. And both of these things are true. I really like the structure of the act and the agenda decks. One you don't want to advance, and it's going to advance the bad elements of the story that might even make you, lose or have a worse ending than you wanted to. And the act cards that are you advancing the heroes, advancing your good story, and giving you the objectives that you need to win the game. It's a really nice system between, seeing how the story goes between the two sides. And the story that's told on the cards and everything is really quite nice. The clues, I thought it's a little bit of a shame that you are just going around picking up tokens, nameless tokens, and then eventually you unlock a big bit of story. It would be nice if you were finding things that related to what you were doing, and then that led to the big story thing. But I understand that it's not, trying to be the ultimate storytelling game. It does a very good job of telling a story as it is. It would just be nice if you were doing something other than just picking up tokens to unlock the next bit of the story. The way the combat works is really nice. The way all of the tests work, really, it's nice because it encourages cooperation in that the other players, if they're in your location, they can help you with committing cards to skills. But the thing it comes down to is that cup, that chaos bag, and it is supposed to provide the randomness of the game. I understand that this is that type of game. It's what the series is based on. It's Arkham Horror and Elder Sign and everything about it is the game is supposed to be punishing you. I remember Arkham Horror itself was one of the first games I ever bought way before I properly got into board games. And the thing that attracted to me at the time was that it was a game where you weren't expecting to win. It was gonna punish you. It was gonna really put you through your paces, and you would be thankful if you just got to the end without dying. Never mind even thinking of winning. And at the time, that really, really attracted me, and I have since then, done a complete 180, and now it's all about farming in the Mediterranean. But I still really, have good memories of Arkham Horror, of huge day-long games of it, which I don't know how we did now, but they did happen, and I did used to really like that. Now, I'm not so much into that, and the Chaos Bag does tend to get on my nerves. You can tone it down, you can put it on easy mode, which it's basically giving you more randomness, the difficulty. It's giving you more variance in the numbers. Like the worst that's in the bag is -4 on normal difficulty. I think it's -8 on insane difficulty, and it's a bit easier on easy difficulty. There's some more pluses in there. There's some less severe minuses. But the thing I really don't like is the token that's just the automatic loss, because as in a lot of games, you have to commit all of these things to your checks before you see what's coming out of the bag, obviously. But I think that it's a very disappointing thing to have worked out all of these things. I can use this skill, and then you can do this, and then I can commit these cards to your skill check, and we've worked out this brilliant, thing we thought we were done for, but we've just worked out this brilliant cooperation, and then we draw a thing out of the bag, and then it's automatic loss. If it was a minus and we hadn't planned for it, and it was just our fault for just hoping we got 3 more than the score, and anything but the -4 will give us the number we need to pass this skill, and it just happens to be -4. That would be bad, but it's just just how it happened. The fact that it comes out and it's just the tentacles. No, you lose no matter what. All of those skills, all of those resources and cards, they're gone now, and you lose. I know that it's part of the game, and this is just a personal thing for me. It's not a criticism of this card game in particular. It's a hallmark of the series, and it's the same as in a game where rolling a dice and a 1 is always a fail and a 6 is always a success. I know it's just replicating that kind of system, but personally that really annoys me that we can use the thing that the game provides us to come up with these amazing combos of cards and assets and things, and then the game to just turn around and say nope, not for any reason. That just really annoys me. But on to positive things. That is another really nice thing, the way that the cards play. you can, they're multi-use cards to an extent. You need to pay a cost in resources to be able to get them out. So it's always a balancing act between how many resources you want to keep available to give yourself flexibility, but you need those things out there to be able to use them as for their asset skills. But also, do you want them in your hand, because they could be very useful out there, providing maybe shields if they're allies, providing abilities, providing better attacks than just your standard fist value. But if they're in your hand, then they may have a lot of symbols on them. Some cards are just skill check cards to help you with those. So it's a nice balancing act between, I really want this card out, but having these extra symbols for this check could really, really be the difference between life and death. I really like how those play. And the resources as well, depending on what comes out, it can get really, really limited. You can use an action to get a resource, but it seems like a big waste unless that is really it's the one you need to get something really big out. And I found out the hard way that Roland's weakness is lose all of your resources. In the first game that we played, I built up a lot of resources and didn't go through the deck before I played it. I just wanted to be surprised. And I was surprised when I'd built up this huge pile of resources and my card came out saying, lose all of your resources. But more than being a criticism of the game, that's a criticism of look at your deck before you play the game. You'll lose out on the amazement of wow, this card's brilliant, but you will not be so shocked. You'll spend Roland's resources. I know I built up quite a few in the playthrough here, but in normal games tend to, if I've got a lot of resources as Roland, they are paid for and gotten rid of before his weakness comes out. The other weakness as well, not the basic weakness. There is a story-based weakness for each character as well, which is quite nice, which can give you, well, it's not really like a side quest, but it's an additional objective. Like Roland gets this thing that's got clues on it, and if you find clues, you can take them off that card instead of getting a clue and putting it on your character as normal. And that can really hold you back if you don't complete his side story. So that's a nice extra thing on the storytelling as well. And I haven't mentioned the evolution of the characters as well. So you get to upgrade your characters at the end of the scenarios. You learn experience for various things, for clearing out locations, for killing certain enemies that are tougher. You'll get experience points and you can spend them getting new cards. You can either upgrade some of the cards you already have, and there's not that many that are better versions of the ones you start with, but there are quite a few different cards as well, and you can take them from other decks. You start off with a deck that's got a few things from a few different characters mixed in, which is partly why you're going to need 2 sets if you want to play with 4 players, because all of the characters are kind of leeching off of other characters' base decks. So the upgrading works quite well. It's really nice to see some of these cards that you've relied on really get beefed up if you get enough experience points to be able to do that. And you can really get some really powerful cards just off the bat. You don't have to upgrade things. It's got those standalone cards that you have to stick to a deck size, so you're going to have to be giving up something. But it's a really nice way of progressing the campaign as well. You do start to feel stronger as you go through the missions. So that's Arkham Horror, the card game. So overall, the storytelling, really good. It's got multiple endings that, it's not just lose and start again and keep going until you win the scenario, then you can move on to number 2. No, the story is going to carry on and be different. Not just whether you won or lost, but depending on what you did, you'll be given choices sometimes in the scenarios. That's a really nice little thing. The upgrading the characters, while I'd like to see how it goes in a bigger scenario, because it's just a thing for this campaign, I think. I'm not sure on that, I could be wrong. I'm not sure if your characters at the end of the 3 scenarios in this campaign will continue to get stronger in a new campaign, or do they start again for the new campaign and start getting upgraded again? I'm not sure. But the upgrading of the character, it seems quite good so far. The randomness, while I know it's a personal thing, it's not that this game is particularly bad for it. It just gets on my nerves particularly. But that is something to bear in mind. You probably, if you really are annoyed by that sort of thing, you probably haven't even looked at Arkham Horror. I just really like to convince myself that it'll be different this time. You'll enjoy it this time, and oh well. But the storytelling part and the actual cooperation, the actual cooperative card play is really, really fun. And if you are interested, it's worth checking out Arkham Horror, the card game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.